Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the video. I apologize ahead of time if I'm slurring or stuttering a bit more than normal. I've had a pretty long day, but I still thought it was really important to bring this video to you guys. We're going to be discussing how to build muscle and strength for teens using classic lifting principles. Like, these are the fundamentals, the basics that have worked forever. But before we hop into that, I would like to mention that there are currently a few seats available in my mentorship program where I'm helping other young teenage men just like myself, ages 16 to 19, gain insane amounts of muscle and minimal fat in 12 weeks or less. And so if that sounds interesting to you and you would like to build the body of your dreams in 12 weeks using the copy paste XYZ process that I used and learned over a span of about 2 years, where I gained 30 pounds of solid muscle, then go down below, book that call with me, and we'll see if you're a good fit. I'm looking forward to potentially working with you guys. Let's hop right into this one. How to gain muscle and strength for teens using classic lifting principles. Okay, these are going to be the fundamentals. There's going to be 3 parts to this. The very first part is going to be your nutrition, and I would argue the most important. The second part is going to be your training. The third part is going to be everything outside of the gym, mostly your recovery. Okay, your nutrition is so important, because if you neglect your nutrition, you are not going to get the results you're looking for. Like, I see guys who go into the gym and they train like an animal. They train, freaking hard. Like, it looks like they should be getting results, but they're not. And why is that? It's because they're not fueling their body correctly. If you're not fueling your body in the correct way for your goals, then you're not going to get those goals. Like, this is like the absolute baseline. Like, your diet has to be on point for what you're trying to do. And I'm going to break that down a little bit more right now. Okay, so what that means is, if you're trying to lose weight, right? If you're trying to lose the extra body fat that you have and replace it with muscle, or you're going to lose the body fat, then put muscle on afterward, it doesn't matter. You need to be intaking less calories than you're burning, because those calories that you're intaking, so if you intake 2,300 calories and you burn 2,500 calories, because that is your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is a fancy word for your maintenance calories. It's basically how many it's basically how many calories your body burns in a day, right? And so if you're intaking 2,300 and you're burning 2,500, that extra 200 calories that you're burning is coming from your stored fat. Okay. And then if you're trying to gain weight, which I assume is actually about 80% of you, because you're mostly, a bit smaller of guys that are looking to get bigger, gain muscle, gain size, gain strength, etc. And so for most of you, you're probably going to be looking at a caloric surplus, where you are going to be intaking more calories than you're burning. And so what that means is, if you burn 2,500 calories in a day, you're going to be looking at a caloric surplus of probably about 2,800. And for me, because keep in mind that your basal metabolic rate and everything around that's different for every single person. You need to find your basal metabolic rate, your maintenance calories, through experimentation, if you will. Like, I learned what mine is through months and months and months of tracking my calories every single day, having the dedication and the grit to just do it every day. And I was able to find out, like, okay, well, I've noticed a trend where if I eat this amount of calories every day, I don't gain or lose any weight. And that's going to be your maintenance calories. And so my maintenance calories is about 3,000. And so if I want to lose weight, which right now I actually am trying to cut down for my powerlifting meet that's coming up, I'm eating at about 2,700 calories. So I'm in that caloric deficit. But like I said, for most of you that are trying to gain weight, muscle size, and strength, and you don't care too much about your weight, you just want to gain size and strength, right? You're going to be looking at that caloric surplus. Okay, and so you need to find your maintenance calories, and you need to eat at about 200 to 300 more than that for nice, slow, steady gains. Because you could go all out and eat like 5,000 calories a day, like what, 2,000 calorie surplus. Like, although for some of you that might be the case, for some of you really, really skinny guys, like I'm talking skin and bones, No offense. Skin and bones, like you're going to be looking at probably that many calories. But for most of you, I can only assume, although take this with a grain of salt because all of you are different. You're going to be looking at about a 200 to 300 calorie surplus for slow, sustainable, steady gains, because you can go all out and just eat, way, 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 way more than you need to. And don't get me wrong, you will gain size, you will gain strength, but at a cost though. And that cost is going to be the extra body fat. Like you'll see guys who start just shoving in food, like way, way, way excessive caloric surplus. And what ends up happening is, yes, they do gain size and they do gain strength, but they also gain a significant amount of fat that covers up those hard-earned gains. So for you guys, I highly encourage you to not make that mistake and go the route of the nice, slow, steady gains until you get to that point where you want to be. Like, think of it this way. You can go way up and then back down to where you want to be, and that's like twice the amount of work. Or you can just go slow and steady up to where you want to be. So you can go like this, or you can go like this, okay? And so it's up to you. But I would recommend you take the slower, but more sustainable, and I would argue easier route, instead of trying to stuff your face until you want to puke it all up, okay? It's going to be way easier. And another part of your diet, although I wouldn't overly stress it, especially if you're eating in that caloric surplus, but it is still important to keep in the back of your mind, or just there, is your protein. Okay, so in the calories that you eat, you need to be eating a certain amount of protein, and I would recommend that you eat at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. Okay, everyone says, oh, but 0.0 or 0.6 grams of protein, or 1.2 if you're bigger. Like, okay, just as a general rule of thumb, 1 gram per pound of body weight is going to be good for everyone. Don't overthink it, okay? So if you weigh 150 pounds right now, you're going to be eating inside of the calories that you eat, you're going to be having about 150 grams of protein. And so for reference, your average scoop of whey protein that you would put in milk or water or a shake has about 25 to 30 grams of protein, okay? Or a chicken breast probably has about 30, depending on the size of it, or maybe even 50 or 60 if it's a bigger one. When you're tracking your calories on an app like MyFitnessPal, it's going to tell you all this information, the macros, or the carbs, fats, and proteins, but you don't have to worry too much about the carbs and fats. That's unimportant for you right now. You're just looking at the protein and the calories, okay? 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. And for most of you, but not all of you, you're going to be looking at about a 200 to 300 calorie surplus. The second part is going to be your training in the gym, okay? So now that you've eaten the right foods, now that you've fueled your body correctly, you can actually go into the gym and you can put the work in, okay? The gym is where the muscles are broken down, and so you're going to go into the gym and you're going to get on a good program where you're going to be progressively overloading every single week. And that's going to be a fancy way of saying training harder each session. And so if one day you go in, say it's chest day, and so you're bench pressing. If on last chest day you did 135 for 4 sets of 10, you're going to go in this next session and try to do 140 for 4 sets of 10. And sure, you might get it for the first 2 sets, but then the last 2 sets you got to drop it back down to 135, do it for 10. But the point is that in general you went more than last time. Like, it doesn't really matter by how much, as long as you are going more than last time. That means that you're stronger. Okay, but on top of this as well, you need to be going in and you need to be training freaking hard. Because first of all, right, you go in and you train harder, that means that you're getting stronger. And mass moves mass. And so the more mass you can move, the more mass you have. Mass means muscle, baby. That's what you're looking for. So along with, training harder, you want to train freaking hard every time. Like, I see people that go in, and this is literally like the personal trainers that are at the gym, right? Like, whether it's the ones that work in the gym or the ones that just come in to train their clients in that gym. Like, I see them there, and it's like a grown man who can obviously do like quite a bit more weight, and he's doing like way less weight, and he's sitting there oh my God, I did 10. Well, last time I did 9. It's like, dude, you can literally do like 50 of those if you wanted. Like, bro, you need to double that freaking weight. And so you can do a hard 8. And then next time you try to come in and do 9, or next time you try to come in and do 10. Like, I see people, and this is even the personal trainers, like the professionals, the trainers of the gym, like who are literally training people like pussies. Like it's not that difficult. And I see them, like 2 days out of the week, and then I never see them again. Probably because they weren't seeing any results. Because they weren't actually moving any heavy weight. And so you need to go in and do the opposite of that. Like, you need to go in, you need to go hard. Like, go freaking hard. And this isn't to say that you should injure yourself, though, because if you ever sacrifice your form during a lift to get that extra rep, so if you're benching, but then it means you need to bring your butt off the bench and you need to go like all like this to get it up on the last rep, don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. Okay. So to be more specific, you need to go freaking hard within good form. So don't, if your form needs to be sacrificed to get that next rep, right, to go to failure more or to go further into failure, don't do it. Okay. But other than that, though, you need to be going to failure. You need to be going freaking hard. Like, if you can do another rep with good form, do it. And the third part of this is going to be your recovery. Okay. What exactly is your recovery going to look like? Your recovery is going to be the time that you spend in between training a certain muscle group. And so it doesn't matter how you're training or what your split is or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter if you're doing upper body and lower body and abs, or if you're doing push-pull legs, if you're doing push-pull arms, shoulders, legs. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You need to be giving yourself at least, which I wouldn't say at least, because if you go more than this, you're really just sacrificing a lot of potential gains, right? Like that extra time that you spent not training that you could have been training to break down your muscle more, therefore have it build up more, therefore have more muscle, more results. You need to give yourself a 48-hour window in between every single muscle group, but I wouldn't go much further than that. Like, at most, like a 72-hour window. And so that basically means that if you do, and this split is a great example of it, is push-pull legs, where it gives you that 48 hours in between every one, because you do push, and then you do pull, then legs, and you do push again. And in between your 2 push sessions of the week, you're giving yourself that 48 hours, and then you do pull, and then that gave you that 48 hours. Like, do you see what I'm getting at? Give yourself plenty of time to recover, but that doesn't mean that you need to over recover and basically just be lazy and not do anything. I'm saying to give yourself the proper amount of recovery, but not go more than that, because if you go more than that, you are going to be sacrificing time that could be spent getting freaking gains, bro. So summing up this video, eat the right amount of food for what you're trying to do. 2, go into the gym, don't train like a pussy. 3, give yourself time to recover, but not too much. Okay? It's super simple, super basic. This has worked forever and it will continue to work forever. And so if you found this video useful, go down below, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Always remember to get her done.